Let's shake it up right now. Shake it up. Shaking up the garbage we feed on. Shaking up our wondrous being. Let's begin to rip off. Even if just for a moment, to share the climb and the suffocating skin. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Shake it up.
Hello there, welcome to Being Human, shaking up our wondrous being. I'm Ray Coates.
And I'm Tracy Wilson.
And Tracy, it's an arrival to be here. The fact that we're here, I think, and you and I know what we mean, and I'll explain a bit in a moment, but I think it's a good example of sometimes turning up, arriving, is the best that we can accomplish. The power of showing up. Would you say that's reasonable? Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Definitely.
We've had some slight tech issues. There's obviously something going on in the clouds, and if not in the cloud, where there's a slight delay. But we are live Facebook, 2 Facebook pages, my personal and Ray Coates' Voice, and also YouTube. And I'll say this a couple of times during the live as people join, which is this will be available 24 hours on both Facebook pages. Then it will be taken from those Facebook pages, not by Facebook, but by us. And then it will be available in YouTube permanently. So if you are live or you're catching it in now and you think, well, I can't stay, but I'm going to watch it in Facebook, bear in mind it's only here for 24 hours. YouTube permanently. So, habit to identity. That's something that you talked about at the end of the last episode, Tracy. Can you broaden, expand a little bit on that subject, habit to identity, please?
Yeah, when we start trying to change us, change our lives, change something about who we are and what we're doing, it can be really hard because a lot of the time we still feel like that old version of ourselves. And it can be quite hard to move on from that, especially if we are thinking that we are, like from my experience, being an NHS pharmacy technician for 23 years, it was quite hard to go from that into being a coach because I've been looked at as being one thing for so long, and often a lot of those people around you will try and not consciously try and pull you back, but they have expectations of who you are, but you also have expectations of who you are, and it can be a constant battle not to pull yourself back into old habits because your subconscious believes you're something else. It feels safer being what it's always been for however long. So that's basically what it is, yeah.
And I think, again, because I know you share what you share with great understanding, great compassion. So you're not criticising others per se, because I guess the obvious thing to say is we know what's going on inside. So again, if I use me as an example, there are parts of me that the same Ray that I've always been. Of course, because I'm still that child, if you like, the child version of Ray, yeah, little Raymond, shall we say, yeah. I'm still that person, but there's development over years, but other people can't see that. They perhaps see the identity of the version that they've known previously.
Yeah.
So I think I'll put this out to our audience, whether that's people now, whether that's people watching the permanent video in YouTube, because I'm going to say that again. 24 hours it's going to be available Facebook, then permanently on the YouTube channel Ray Coates Voice. How do people, so I'm asking our audience, how do they manage to share the new identity, if you like, the developed identity? So I want people to make comments. You've gone through transformations, reformations, changes in your outlook in life. How do you navigate that in relation to other people? So I'm asking everyone who's watching, if you're comfortable to make a comment on that. I'm then going to follow that up with when Tracy shares what she's going to share in a moment, because I already know there's going to be plenty coming because it's Tracy. And I then want people to comment on your life hacks, your mindset advice, your compassionate coach advice to help other people to go from that habit to identity. So how are people navigating it? And once you've made the comments you're going to make, what you're going to share now, for others to make comments on what you're sharing. So Tracy, we all need help. We all need support. How would you help us to basically work with this new identity, perhaps that other people haven't seen yet?
So, like, what I've got down here is one of the things that why it's so hard for us to change is change always feels uncomfortable, even if it's good for us. Your brain, your body loves familiarity. So even if it's not good for you, you'll keep doing those same things, or you'll find it hard to move away from those things. One of the things I've got written down here is like, think of your identity like an old comfy coat. It might be outdated, scratchy and heavy, but it's familiar, and you'll often keep wearing it because it's what you're comfortable in. And when we think about our identity and making these changes, I'll use quite a common example. Like, if you're somebody that smokes or somebody that drinks, and you're looking to give up doing that habit that's not good for you, you really want to give it up. You know it's unhealthy, it's not doing you any favours, but your body knows it's familiar, and it'll keep making it feel like you want that thing, even though consciously you know you don't. How you speak to yourself and how you think of yourself can make or break how your ability to move on from doing that habit. So if you still are using language like, I'm giving up smoking, or I'm trying to cut back, but you've maybe not smoked for a couple of weeks, technically you're wanting to become a non-smoker, but you're still living in the identity of a smoker, because you're using the language of, I need to give up, I'm cutting back. If you'd really taken on the identity of a non-smoker, a non-drinker, you would just say things like, oh, no thanks, I don't smoke, because you see yourself as a non-smoker. But what often happens is people are moving into these new identities still using language and thinking of themselves in the old way.
Wow.
Like, I don't do that anymore, I'm trying to give up on that. They've not fully taken on the whole new identity and belief system that they are that new version of themselves, because they're still talking like they're in transition, if that makes sense.
Right, totally. And I think, I know we've got Terry with us. Terry knows me, so Terry shares something that I identify with, which is a purple heart, and the colour purple, very much energetically. So I wonder, anyone who's here, anyone who's joining, again, I want to emphasise whether that's live now, whether that's replay, comment on the transition of habit to identity, because I think listening to what you've just said, for me, if I put it this way, it's confusing for the change of behaviour, but it's also potentially confusing for other people. Now, if we're needing to make a statement of intent, that is a challenge with other people, because they're used to us being the previous way. But also, if we're speaking in that language that you said, that we're not fully committed or sure, that's not a criticism, then of course that's confusing for other people as well. So how can we do that? This is a real direct question, but I know you're capable of answering it. How can we transition without that necessarily creating conflict, unnecessary conflict? Because other people are like, go on, just one won't hurt, or whatever it might be. It's only a small cream bun. It's only a small cream cake, or whatever.
Just one drink. It's only a small
it's just one drink.
Yeah.
It's whatever it is. Ray, it's only one pack of jelly babies. So I'm being very specific now. Ray, it's only one pack of jelly babies. Now, if somebody says that, how can I say, not like, you're almost like it's a vampire, I need to kind of make the sign of a cross. How can I manage that? Terry, believe in your new choices. Don't be deterred by other reactions.
Yeah. And that's
a good comment, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's true. That is what we need to do. But what's difficult is, as human beings, we all want to be part of something. We are pulled towards the tribe. We want to be part of community. And if our whole community has always accepted us as the smoker, the drinker, the partier, whatever we're seen as, and that's who we're seen as, the subconscious in our systems will try, and it can almost be like, well, if I turn into this new version of myself, I'm not part of the tribe anymore. I'll be rejected. I won't be liked. I won't be loved. Without even thinking those things, our body's already contemplating what might happen if we become this new version of ourselves. So we need to find a way of being comfortable in our own skin, knowing that we're good enough to be accepted into the tribe that we're in, the community that we're in, or if that community, tribe, whatever you want to call it, is no longer right for us. It might be people that we're no longer in alignment with. It might be a job we're no longer in alignment with. We need to find ways of feeling comfortable to say, actually, it's okay to let go of that old life or those people and stay true to ourselves, even if that means having to meet new friendships and new groups, because the right people will always stand by you, but it's how we feel about losing those people that won't, and whether we feel that we can carry on and live without those people, even though they might, when we look at them, they might not be right for us anymore. We might always think, when we're around them, they irritate us. We don't enjoy being around them. But again, it's like that old quote, they're comfortable. So depending on how confident and comfortable we are in our own skin, it can be very hard not to sway back to the old comfortable quote, even though it's time to throw it out.
Wow. So let's pause there for a moment, because of course some people will be in that position. Yeah. It's time to throw it out. And they will know that without either you or I saying that. That's why I wanted just to pause there for a moment. Terry, again, great comment. We will pick up on the comments, and as we grow as an audience, more people will come in. I know that for sure. True friends would encourage you to be a better you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, isn't it? That's lovely. So for me, I'm not going to spend too long on this, because this is like 17 years. Okay? But I am going to share with you because I think it's very, very relevant. And there's no past criticism, by the way. I'm not going back to kind of point a finger, chuck a stone at people, or do anything like that at all. But I cannot ignore my life, and neither should I. So what you described there, so if I explain the ex-Jehovah's Witness Ray, so when I was one of Jehovah's Witness, I know I'm being very specific, and I think this also applies and is true of other religious belief systems, okay? When you're inside it, the community you're inside is what you know. And I know that can apply to many other things, but it's a very acute thing. So, for example, I was inside that 25 years. Even that description, inside it. that I've used unconsciously. When I then made the choice I could no longer live that way, it took years. It took years. To be more accurate, it's probably taken 17 years, okay, to move away from that. And the reason I'm sharing that is because I know there is the potential of other people who've had a similar experience. Now, TikTok, I've had many people in the live who are sharing that's what the experience they had. What I would say is it does take time, it does take effort. I'm speaking on behalf of me now. It does take time, it does take effort, but that's one of the reasons why I'm doing things like this. Because I feel I've found so many incredible human beings that are scattered around in loads of different places. They're all different. They don't necessarily want you to be a part of something, if you get me. Like Terry's saying, quite profoundly simple. Believe in your new choices. Don't be deterred by others' actions. True friends would encourage you to be a better you. So I want to share that message of possibility because somebody might be in the position similar to the one that I was in. I'm sure yourself, others as well. So it takes time, but there are other people. That's a simple truth. There's tons of other people. Yeah. So if the people that we're with really, really are incredibly discouraging and don't want us to have that new identity, I mean, how do you feel about that? Because I'm coming from the street, if you like. that's a bloke saying what I've just said. You're the qualified practitioner. Is there some level of reasonableness in what I've just said?
Yeah, definitely. It can be very difficult. Like as Terry said, true friends would encourage you. The people around you would encourage you. But reality is that's not always the case. No. And it's not always because those people don't want to be encouraging. Yeah. But we're all in a place of protecting ourselves and our own identities. So your group of friends might really want the best for you, but you doing things and making changes or positive changes could be triggering them in areas to show them, they might feel that they want to change but can't. And by you making that change and movement, that triggers things in them, which then can bring up the negative reactions from them. And it's not that they don't mean it. It's not that they mean it or they mean to come across that way, but it's making their reactions is always about how it's making them feel. So if you're doing good things, making positive changes is making them feel still more stuck than what they already felt. Like they're not good enough to move on, that they don't have the confidence to go out and do what you're doing. That can then cause a negative expression or reaction from them. And depending on where you're at in life and how secure you feel about making these changes, that could draw you back. And I experienced that. I've experienced that throughout my life. If I actually look back, and I worked in a place. I worked in the NHS, a really big organisation, but with smaller groups of people within each department. And I came from quite a big department, and we were all very close. Everybody's good friends. We all love being around each other. All great people. But it could be very hard to move out of those systems because a lot of people are in those jobs for a long time, and a lot of them aren't particularly, and I'm not talking about everybody, some people are very happy, but some people think they're happy and they're not. So they're in there, waiting for retirement, complaining about the place, complaining about the rotas. They don't have anything good to say about it, but they also don't want to leave. So when that one person does leave, it can almost feel like they wish you the best, but you can feel that, don't know how to put it, but you can feel that kind of negativity coming from them and things starting to change.
Yeah. Terry, I'm so grateful for you and your comments, and That's valuable. Can you read that comment? Can you see
Yes,
it, Tracy?
Yeah. And friendships are built on shared interests, drinking, smoking, etc. Remove the shared interest and maybe it's not a friendship at all. That's absolutely correct. There's a lot of people and with it exactly how Terry said it there, and the same with like whether it's being within the Jehovah Witnesses, being within the NHS, your group, you can see them as friends and they are all good people.
Yeah,
but
totally. Yep.
True friends would like you no matter what you're doing and would support you no matter what you're doing, even if you're doing something slightly different. And I have a lot of that. I have those same friends that are still supporting me. I still see them all the time, but then I have a large group that I've just allowed to leave, not because they're bad people, not because they've done anything particularly bad, but there's just not that same connection, and it could turn into quite a negative connection, not through my fault, not through their fault, just because we're not in alignment with it, with what we're doing now and what our opinions are, and just our thoughts about life. And when you realise that those people around you are actually keeping you in a place that doesn't bring you any joy anymore, you feel stuck, you have to make that decision. What's the benefit of having those groups around? You know, is there any benefit of having a group of people around and they're all happy because you're within that group, but you feel miserable because you're not doing what you love or you're not doing what you want to in life? And it's just finding that balance and being able to walk away if necessary. It's sad when you have to, but sometimes not everybody's meant to come with us through life.
No. Everything shakes up everything. We're shaken up in some way. So if we stay and we're not comfortable, we're not happy, and you know we've got new habits that we're forming that don't fit in with, and we want to change those. So then we re-identify in the sense of, you know, we're saying those are things that I'm not. I don't want to do that anymore. Well, if we don't do that, so let's go back to that. If we don't do that, we stay where we are. So we're you know, and I'm talking deep level unhappy. You know, it's causing us some health and mental health issues and physical health issues. Then that's shaking us up. If we then be who we are, well, then that's potentially shaking up the situation, which creates an opportunity for the other people to think then, okay, no problem, I get it, you know, that's fine, it'll take me a little bit of period of time to adjust, but I'm with you in that, and or not. And it's something I'm coming to a lot, and I don't mean as in direct, I'm just, you know, I'm telling people straight, because I'm not a great fan of when people say, oh, I'll just tell people as how it is.
Oh, I hate that thing.
You know, it's just, you know, for me, that's kind of, I feel that's often a precursor of somebody just being brutally to the point. So
I always say, my expression when I hear somebody saying that, what I feel inside is, no, you're saying it from your perspective.
Yes.
It's not how it is, it's how you see it. And it's just your inability to see reason with others.
So for me, genuinely, I feel it's not that. But what it is I've come to a conclusion, which is quite simply this. If I present as the most accurate version of me to other people, then I give them the choice.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do that, we're under a misconception.
Yeah.
So I do that as in thinking this is it, this is me. It depends on the situation, of course, and the level of knowing that I have of somebody. Terry, again, we shouldn't feel we need to stay for others, because if the others cared as much as you do, they would see you need to move on.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Something that I've got written down here is, if your growth threatens a relationship, that relationship was built on your smallness, not your truth. So they only wanted to be around you while you were something for them, or while you were how they seen you. But if you start to grow and start to reach out for more, that they're not interested in that. So the relationship wasn't based on reality or truth.
I feel I need to come up with a name for a Tracy Truth. I think that's probably it. That's the nearest I can come to. I think I'm not saying this is the same, but they used to call it. Terry said so true. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They used to call it. Is it Richard Hitchens? They used to call it a hitch slap. So when he said something, it was like boom. It was like a drop the mic moment. So yeah. I think a Tracy Truth. That's what I've got for you at the moment. Because that's what that felt like, very much so. So we were concerned about technology before we began. Because again, to share with those joining, if you're catching up in replay, remember, only available permanently YouTube, Ray Coates Voice, 24 hours Facebook. If you're catching up in replay on Facebook, watch it now, because it won't be here this time tomorrow. YouTube permanently, Spotify version. Let's see if this works, Tracy. I'm going to click on an image now. I'm getting courageous. I'm still there, so how does that get rid of me? Let me go here. There we are. Yeah. So now I can still hear you. You can still hear me. Yeah. Our audience can still hear us. It's the wrong image, by the way, but never mind. We'll work with it. Yeah, exactly. We'll work with it. Never mind. But don't worry. It's proof of this particular one, which is not what we're sharing now, the Creative Shake-Up Show. It's Spotify, it's YouTube, and it's promoted across TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. So I'm going to get rid of that image now, because it's not the right one. But we want to be everywhere. Now, I know I can speak for me. I want to be available with the type of messages that we're sharing now, 24/7, worldwide, for everybody. There's no more than that, 24/7 worldwide. How do you feel about that, Tracy?
Yeah, I love that. I think it's needed more people just talking about real things and real feelings, because we all know how we should think and act and feel, but it's not necessarily the case. And sometimes you can feel stuck thinking that you're the only one that thinks a certain way or feels a certain way. And I know myself, when I've started mixing with different people online and different things, you start to realise that a lot of us think and feel very similar, but often we feel that we're the only ones that feel that way.
It's that phrase that often is an introduction to the thought you've just shared. Is it just me?
Yeah.
Is it just me, or and then we go into whatever that might be. So the part of being human, the cohesion, the connection, the harmony, for me, is where we come together in that thought. So whilst I'm not backtracking, but whilst I've brought up my previous experience of religion, you've applied that to your experience.
Yeah.
So your previous experience was not religious, yet the experience is similar. So for me, that's it. It's not to say we're going to talk out against religion. I'm not interested. Belief exists in all of us. We all have belief. That's something I've learned from you very much. Yeah. So how can we be human within that, promote that in our own lives? Now we're aware of that with others. We've got friends who are changing their habits. They're changing their way of being. There's another dynamic. So people are here. Maybe you're not changing your habits, but other people are. Yeah. This can help you to understand that from a human experience. How can you support? How can you maintain that friendship beyond the shared interests? Yeah. So that's the thought too. So I think to conclude with, as we often do, we like to set up for the next week. We're together Friday, that would be the 29th of August, 3 p.m. And I want to pick up on Terry's comment before I say any more. Something like this gives others courage to admit things they have bottled up. Terry knows how that
Yeah,
affects me too. Hopefully helping them to move on and be who they want to be. Beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful. That's the type of comment, message. It's open-ended as well. Of course, people may not agree with everything. That's fine. But it's what can we take away that we can move forwards with together.
yeah.
Not some separatist or segregated way of being human. So, Friday, 29th of August, 3 p.m. I've got a thought, but I'm going to kind of test the water, Tracy, to see if it might align with yours as a subject matter.
Yeah.
Would you like to say what you think for next time? And
I
then
had a
might...
couple.
Did
I
you?
had a
Go
couple
on.
of things coming to me there because one
Great.
of the things, because you said my most hated phrase, I thought, oh, I feel like I could do a whole episode on that. I
Great.
just say it how it is,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that goes into how you live, how you're living around other people's opinions, other people's perspectives and stuff. Just that whole phrase, just saying how it is, can leave you self-sabotaging your own life because you think that how other people are saying it is how it is, and it's not. It's their opinion. So
So
it's
like a mirror, like a mirror.
that
So
those
what you're,
that self,
yeah,
yeah, stopping them
yeah.
self-sabotaging and listening to other people. So I think something around that, as a spin-off from this, because I think the next part I had was how we notice self-sabotage, how we notice when we start going back to things like that. And that is when you notice, when you start hearing people saying things like, I just say how it is. If you're not stuck and firm in what you're wanting to do, your brain will start thinking, well, that's how it is. That's how they see it. If I don't start doing what they think, I need to go back to doing what they're doing because that's how it is. That's what's safer. So we start self-sabotaging our own behaviours and our own actions because of how somebody else sees it.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that requires time, very
Yeah.
much so. For me, separating what I'm feeling, which I think we've touched on, and there's probably a general thread running through most of what we do, separating what I'm feeling from the feelings of others.
Yeah.
So what's mine, what's theirs? So maybe that's perhaps future tense, but I do like the spin-off thought.
I can actually see how they are connected though in a
Can you?
similar way. Yeah.
Already?
In my brain, I can see them connected.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think maybe then next time is how they're connected, and also how phrases that we feel we're projecting, the statement of, I'm my own person, I say it like it is, yeah, how that actually reflects back on the control of others over us and us sabotaging life, which is effectively
Yeah.
what
Because again, it's like what we've been talking about here is how we move on, but how do we feel when we see other people trying to change? How does that make us feel? Because that actually, if you feel positive and you think, oh, I'm really happy for them, then that's great. But if certain people are doing things and you feel jealousy, sadness, or any negative emotions, that's actually nothing about what they're doing and more about what you believe is your ability to change. Because what's usually happening is they're doing something that you wish you could do, or you wish you could do something similar, but deep down you believe or feel that you aren't capable of. So you'll start seeing their actions as being negative. So you'll start projecting the things to try and stop them from achieving what they're trying to achieve, whether it's weight loss, giving up cigarettes, changing jobs, purely because it's nothing to do with them, because actually what they're doing doesn't affect you. It's purely to do with how you feel about it and how it's actually triggering that you don't feel good enough to do what they're doing. A lot of people won't admit to it, but that is what's happening. When we start to do that, there's a benefit to us trying to stop someone else improving their health, improving their life. And it's because it makes us feel bad in some way, or it makes us feel incapable in some way. So it's kind of flipping it on its head and looking at it from the other perspective, how we feel when we see other people make change or doing good in life, what that can be triggering.
ultimately living their life.
Yeah.
And us living our life. We're living that in conjunction with others, and we can't escape that, even if we want to. It's like the road. It'd be much, much easier if nobody else was there, to some degree.
Yeah.
You know, we're driving, but other people are. So therefore, we're making our journey, and other people are making their journey. So we're operating within that shared space. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't make our journey. So because the fact of other people are on the road misusing the roads, for example,
Yeah.
we're still making our journey, and it is ours. We're in our vehicle.
Yeah.
So the vehicle of us. So when I listen to you, I think, yes, because this is my life. I don't own the life of anybody else. To some degree, stick with me in this, I just about own my own life. And what I mean by that is I have to recognise responsibility in certain areas, of course, yeah? I'm not just going off and doing exactly whatever I want to do, because also potentially that could be self-destructive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So there is levels of that, but also equally, this is the one vehicle I've got. I can't drive anybody else's vehicle because I'm driving this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Great. So I'm kind of on the right track, or the right road. That's good. And others are with us, and we want more to be with us. So in conclusion, with the absolute incredible messages that have been shared here, the Tracy truths. Make your comments. Let us know what you think. Other add-ons, other future topics. If you're watching in Facebook, and that's of course when we click the end of this live, it's still going to be there 24 hours. But remember, then it's not YouTube exclusively. So if you're diving into Facebook and you think, oh, I might have a look at that, be careful, because it won't be here much longer, but it will be in YouTube. There'll be an audio version, Spotify, Being Human, shaking up our wondrous being. Tracy, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. Terry, thank you for your incredible comments. And looking forward to seeing you Friday, 29th of August, 3 p.m. Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Until then, the gremlins didn't affect us.
I know.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
There we go. How do you feel?
Oh, it still says it's live.
Oh,
Does
well,
it feel live?
it does, but it should have ended.